So there were a lot of street gang movies in the 1970s. You have Warriors, which is the most famous one, Boulevard Nights, oh no one I forgot, and of course The Wanderers from 1979, based off the Richard Price book, and it is a Martin Ranskoff production, a Philip Kaufman film. And yes, it is brand new 2K restoration. Meet the Wanderers, the coolest guys in town. Total something. Tully High School seniors Richie, Joey, and Perry run with a gang called the Wanderers in the Bronx. The year is 1963. Their experiences are universal. Falling in love, surviving in school, and defending the turf against their rivals like the Florida Baddies, the Dell Bombers, and the Ducky Boys. From the acclaimed first novel by Richard Price, Clockers, The Wanderers is a rich fabric of comedy and tragedy, fantasy and farce. Director Philip Kaufman, The Right Stuff, mixes dynamic talents that include Ken Wald, The Soldier, Karen Allen, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Tony Collin, The Sopranos, and Linda Matz, Day of Heaven. With a jukebox full of golden oldies generate a heady atmosphere, like American Graffiti and Saturday Night Fever. This cult classic is a nostalgic window to a vanished world, beautifully shot by the great Michael Chapman of Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, worked with Scorsese. This special edition includes the 118 original theatrical version, the very rarely seen 124-minute preview cut. So how do I feel about this one? Well, it's one of those I went in blind and doing this as a suggestion. So there is some gang warfare, but it's not like it's thematic. I will say that, but it's not direct. It's not like the Warriors. That movie is freaking great, but this one's more of a, like I said, with the American Graffiti. That's what this one is. It's definitely made from the coolest guys in town, so we get to follow their everyday adventures. You know, they have arguments with people in class, and then the teacher comes in and says, "Hey, you are all united under brotherhood." You know, they have a list of insults for them that obviously I'm not going to repeat. You know, they are in this small town, and they're just enjoying the gang. They don't do anything particularly brutish or anything. They just live their lives as early to mid 1960s teenagers would, and they have the dancing. So pretty much what it is just like what you've seen with other movies like that. Is about the loss of innocence and the moving into adulthood. Well, specifically for events that happened with, the Beatles were just getting started. This was before the Rolling Stones. So you kind of had, I think, what was his name, Frankie Valli or something, that Cherry Baby. You had that, but then you also get into the gang stuff going on. But there is a sense of code and honor amongst them. It's like, yes, they cause problems, but it's disciplined and structured. And it's not like they're going to maul each other or anything. So yeah, so it's like you can see that there is tension. I mean, even this other guys, this other group known as the Baldies or whatever, including this one guy named Terror. I forget, like, he's famous for something. I forgot what that. It's like they cause some problems and stuff like that, but this being based off of the book and everything, it's certain. I guess you just call it small town-ish gangs, I guess, like what was that, like the Greasers and the Jets and the Sharks from West Side Story. I need to see that one again. So yeah, it feels like everything is earnest and going on here, but now when I was watching this for the first half, I'm like, okay, this is moving kind of slow. Not slow, but there's just a lot of stuff that's in here. Because there's this gang, it's the Ducky Boys. That is such a weird name. Then they said they try and recruit help from the other gangs to protect them and for assistance, including the Baldies, but that doesn't work. So it's like, what do we do? So I think it's, what was that? Yeah, roughly 30 of the Wanderers and 50 of the Baldies or whatever. But during a bacchanalia, if you will. The baldies that sign up for Marine duty of all things. Drunk. And they get shipped off to probably Vietnam at the time, which I found to be funny. And there's even a Marine who says, "Oh, come on, we were just getting around." And the guy says, "Nope, no can do. Those are the rules." He produces a firearm, and I'm just like, "What the heck?" So that was a funny send off. Yeah, and of course, it was like the romance, and there's the romance, there's the partying, there's like people drinking the booze and everything. So I'm just like, all right, this is interesting. I'm wondering, what is this leading up to? Well, previous, with the classmates that they have a football game, just to put their differences aside. And lo and behold, we get Tony Gainos, Gainos, who plays Meat in Porky's. He's comes in as like, I don't know, I just found it to be interesting. So it was just a nice football game, and then all of a sudden, one ducky appears, and he disappears like a magician or something like that. Four appear, and then suddenly hundreds of them come in, and it was just this big ensuing brawl. I'm like, there's a lot of chaos going on for 5 minutes, and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, God bless America. And yeah, ultimately, I don't know what happens. So they just appear almost like, what was that? The gang members, I would say, from Assault on Precinct 13, I guess would be a good comparison. Not that I like doing comparisons, but it helps with the motif of this. So yeah, you have the music, you have the Frankie Valli song, you have the Dion song, The Wanderers, you have Bob Dylan's The Times They Are Changing, because we also hear about JFK who gets assassinated, so you can see like the fragility of, like, when America was a superpower in the 1950s, and lo and behold becomes like, the security is shattered, I guess, when the president gets like that. So yeah, ultimately we get a massive brawl. You get the massive brawl and everything. So I'm like, I mean, I really did like this movie overall. It just took an understanding of what it really was about, with what the central theme is. I know, so it's like, yeah, the small problems, and then we get the big goal, we get the big climax, and the understanding. It's like, it's a funny movie, it's dramatic, it's all that stuff all at once. So, some people may not like the gang stuff that goes on in the beginning. How there's this one camera view where they're all going through like a bottleneck or whatever, and then come out on the other side. I guess that was meant to capture some of the tension and atmosphere. I don't know. That was just an odd choice. So, but despite all that, yeah, I think that was an interesting camera choice with that. It adds some good stuff. Ultimately, I think that, it's nostalgia for a certain time. In my opinion, this is like, you gotta be in the mood for that style. You kind of have to get, I guess, an understanding for the setting, the times, and everything else. So, obviously, this isn't going to cater to like 14-year-olds. I enjoyed it. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, definitely. It's like, after you get used to like how everything builds up and everything. I mean, yeah, obviously, for the big brawl at the ending, they had, what was that? It took 3 days to film it. There were hundreds of extras. Actually, some injuries did happen, which I found to be darkly funny. Yeah. If you ever do get the chance. Oh, by the way, Ace Frehley, his May He Rock in Peace, that he was actually a member. Well, he auditioned to be a member of the actual Ducky Boys gang. They weren't seeing like Krillers or anything. They're seeing more annoyances, probably like playing polka late at night. That's obviously an exaggeration, but yeah, definitely check out The Wanderers. Darn good movie.